Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here on day 26 of 75 hard. This is my AM workout. Gonna do chest and then throw abs and forearms in at the end. I've got everything set up. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna start with some of the kind of an exercise. I didn't invent it, I'm sure, but just like a standing cable incline press. It's kind of a long name. Best way I can explain it. But yeah, start over here on the Smith machine with cables. Target that top chest there, and then I'm gonna go into about, I don't know, 5 different exercises for chest. Each one ending in 1 set to failure. So yeah, let's get into it, man.
The difference is so bizarre to me when people say like, well, you know, I don't read, or I don't. Oh, Jesus. Like, you think you're the best? Come on, bro. Yeah. We're all out here. Me and you are regular dudes, bro. I gotta work really fucking hard to be good at what I do. And I know you do too. 100%. You know, and like some of these people, it's just like, they're spitting out this bullshit on the internet. Honestly, it's why you're sitting here. Because I can identify the people who are full of shit. Yeah. I'm like, bro, you're full of shit. You're making your money on a fucking coaching group. You never built a goddamn thing in your entire fucking life. You're lying to people, and you're collecting some income and pretending like you're a baller. But then there's people like you that are doing your video about high-level operation of an organization. And by the way, you're getting less views than these other fucking knuckleheads are. Dude, I want to share my platform with people like you who have actually done these things, because I think those are the most important stories to tell.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I like one of the talk tracks you're on right there about people don't see the value in reading and information. Like, we didn't invent this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you guys understand, like, all the principles and the lessons and the teachings and all the stuff that we have that we've implemented in our life that has made us millions of dollars. I wasn't sitting in meditation and fucking received it like a fucking prophet. You know what I mean? Like, it just comes.
That's not how it works. Yeah. Bro, I've been in the personal development space for over.
That's a good exercise, but there's going to be a limiting factor to it eventually, I'd say. Once the weight gets so heavy on the back end, it's going to start, you know, if it surpasses my body weight, then it's going to start pulling me backwards. So I'll end up having to probably use a variation with a bench. It's just hard to get like exactly targeted and focused right on that upper chest. I feel like if I'm on this exercise and I'm standing, and I can really just focus on it better and just open up the top there, just like I would on a normal fly, cable fly, like for the lower chest, and you can just get that really good squeeze and focus. I feel like I can do that and just open up the top of my chest, specifically on that, and I can also go past my failure point too by rocking it. Whereas if I'm got my back flat against the bench, I can only do so much to get it back up and then maybe catch a negative, or you know, do something to go past failure. I'll do 2 of those sets, just warm-ups, and then do all-out max set.
55 million in top line revenue, 325 employees, $150 million exit.
Yeah.
Like that 13 years was just constantly.
Yeah. And by the
that's
way,
what I was doing.
And by the way, you're still a young man. What are you, 38?
38.
Yeah. You're still fucking young, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't even started
I'm
yet.
working harder today than I've ever worked. Like,
Preach.
yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, like, and so it's some of those things that I get frustrated with people with, you know. Yeah, but I'm like, how the fuck am I up earlier than richer than you? How am I chasing more information than you are, and I'm fucking richer than you? And please, somebody explain to me, how the fuck am I working harder than you, and I'm richer than you?
Bro.
And then I'm gonna listen to your fucking whining ass bullshit. It's like, bro, this isn't like, I didn't win the lottery. I didn't like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Over and over
again. And not to mention, sorry, I got my dick kicked in a fucking million times. You know what I did the next morning? Got up and did it again.
That's what I said. Yeah. How many times of those times that you showed up did you actually not want to show up? Please, this is real shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys can choose to believe this shit or not, but I promise you, I work harder now than I worked ever in my fucking life. And every single day, and DJ knows this because he hears me bitch about it all the time. I'm like, why the fuck am I still doing this? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, if you got that back foot kind of positioned backwards, your back some is just like there ain't nowhere else to go but the entire weight of that movement catch directly on that upper chest. I dropped weight on that because on these first warm-up sets, I like to really just make sure that I'm getting a really good mind-muscle connection. And I'm in the right range of motion, and I'm squeezing good. I'm really focused. Introduce a little bit of that burn, and then on that last set to failure, then that's the one, after I've gotten the mind-muscle connection, then that's the one I really want to drive home and put the most weight on. And it's mainly just because of recovery ability. Like, your body's only got a finite amount of resources that it can put towards compensating and rebuilding muscle. And if you dig into that, with too many sets to failure, then you're just overloading your body with the stress that it can't cope to, unless you're going to give it a week and a half, and you'd be surprised at how slow your body actually does recover. But that was the reason why I did that.
What the fuck would I do? Bro, I did it. Bro, I would self-destruct.
I'll be fucking honest, real and loud. Like, bro, I sold my shit, and it wasn't B's, but it was a fuckload of M's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of M's.
Yeah.
It was a dope pad in Miami. It was a 100-foot boat. It was a private jet, and I could do whatever the fuck I want to do for a very long time, probably till I die.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Like it was cool for a little while, but on the 50th time that you're coming back from Live nightclub at 4 a.m, and waking up and it's for love of the game. It really is for love of the game. Like at this point, at this level, you hit a certain point where the money, I don't want to say it's meaningless because I don't want to get clipped and fucking like, oh, you call money meaningless, but like, dude, when you have a boat, when you live where you want to live, eat where you want to eat, travel how you want to travel, and fucking essentially have access to absolutely anything that you want to fucking have, after that, you're not working for any result. You gotta have a purpose. It's gotta be for a love of the game. And so that's why, I very quickly, I made it a couple months. Dude, I went into retirement of like plenty of cash and
I'm telling you, I used to do just like an incline barbell press on that Smith machine. You don't get anywhere near as focused with that weight just bearing right down on that upper chest like that. Whereas if you do on that movement, that was the last set to failure on that movement, but I just caught it and catch that negative all the way down until you can't anymore. And I would definitely try that out. I'm actually about at that weight already where I'm going to be tipping backwards. All right, this next exercise, we go over here to machine and incline press. And everything I'm doing, like I've dropped like flat bench. I've dropped like flat, pretty much flat everything. And I just focus on the parts of the chest I'm trying to bring up, which is the upper chest on the incline movements, and then the lower too. Which inadvertently, if you're doing both of those, that middle part of the chest is going to get worked. But I work that flat bench and flies and all that for so long, I'm really not worried about neglecting that part of the movement right now. But you'll see it's from a top-down type of movement where I try to exhaust the entire pec with just that upper, inadvertently hitting the middle, but then working all the way down to the lower in the progression of my workouts and exercises that I'm doing.
I've got soldiers now. Like all these people are doing it, and they're doing a much better job than I can do myself. But I was very lucky to have that happen. Like very lucky to have that. Yeah, for sure. I'm very thankful for that.
I heard yesterday that basically, if you're in that 1 to 3, even 5 type of rep range, then you're going to have more of a bias towards strength. But whenever you get up into the 6 through about 10 to 12, even up to 15, you're going to start to get into that 6 to even up to 15, and even 20 on the rep ranges, then you start to get into the hypertrophy and actual muscle building quality.
No one else is.
So I'm trying to stay really in between about the 8 and 12 rep range, and then bump up weight, kick myself down back to 8 reps again until I get to 12, and then bump up weight and just keep that whole cycle going. I'm gonna record that last max here.
This is the good part. This is also where I got really lucky. I still remember what seeing that Lamborghini did to me as a fucking 8-year-old kid.
No doubt.
Like, I remember that. And like, dude, when I pull up to like a gas station or whatever, and whatever car I'm driving, I fucking, first of all, I don't drive cars to flex cars. If I wanted to flex my shit, you all see it. You don't fucking see it, do you? I drive the shit because I fucking like it.
Yeah.
And when I pull up at a gas station, bro, it's always the kids, man. It's always the kids. It's kids from fucking 5 to fucking 20.
That's the coolest part, bro. It's cars.
And dude, every time it happens, I remember that story of how and dude, if I had not seen that Lamborghini that fucking day and had my dad.
Last day that I did chest was
listen, he works
May
really hard.
20th, which was 4 days ago.
Bro, I don't know where the fuck I went.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The coolest thing about that.
So basically working a muscle group every 4 days.
Typically,
Well, I'm
that
getting ready to show the shit because we're gonna have the biggest car YouTube channel in the fucking world. We're fucking-
facts. But
Might not be the
my
biggest,
point
but
is
it's
like
the
the
most
coolest part is like when kids run up, like it doesn't matter if he has a meeting to go to or whatever. Like he's gonna take that time.
I always do.
You
No
know,
matter what. Everybody else can fucking wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good part of being a
No
fucking
doubt.
boss.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
you're gonna wait for me. I'm gonna talk to these kids.
There's a bear.
I fucking love it.
I love
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it's something about being able to just see what's possible. Like we talk about it quite a bit. Like, you don't know, you can't really physically see what's truly possible. How do you have even try?
You can't. You have to touch, dude. This is why it's so important for you guys to understand. And I'm willing. I wonder. I don't know Eric enough to know this, so I'm wondering what you're gonna say about this. But like, bro, like growing up, like after I saw that car, bro, my favorite magazine was DuPont Registry. My favorite, The Rob Report. I would get on fucking. I do to this day. Last night. I spent 2 hours on the fucking internet looking at cars that I could fucking buy right now, but like, dude, I don't treat myself like that anymore. Now I hit goals and get shit. But like, because otherwise,
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but
you have to
basically,
like when you could actually start
if you
to
got like,
start making things.
well, I'll start from this angle, but basically if you walk your shoulder blades
So like
underneath your back more,
bought all this shit
you're gonna open up that chest and it's gonna take more of the brunt of that movement. Whereas if you got your shoulder blades up higher, then your shoulders are more flared out and your shoulders are gonna take more of that movement. So in a way to isolate that chest, you walk those shoulder blades under to get more of an impact on your pecs there, so they take more of the strain of that movement. It's kind of like little tricks like these that I neglected and I didn't really even know about. And I would just do a bench. I'd get there and just, rack out some weight. But just like little tweaks and little adjustments like that can really make a difference in the focus and just everything, the contraction, all that stuff in the actual movement you're doing, and just give you a more isolated and focused quality type of movement. Alright, bump up weight. We'll do 2 warm-up sets, go into the heavy sets failure.
There is a lot of crime. There is a lot of bullshit. Most of the people here are really fucking good people. So I'm really lucky with that. But like, dude, you're when you start changing, you start evolving, you start growing, you start getting obviously successful, people get pissed, dude. And they get pissed, not at you. They might take it out on you and they might say, well, fuck, that's fucking, look at this guy.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like, they might do that, like,
That's not really why they
no, they're mad at themselves for never even fucking trying.
Yeah.
That's what, and I am, dude, the thing I'm most grateful for in my life, like, if I lost everything today, tomorrow, fucking whatever, which ain't gonna happen, but if I did, I would still be able to sleep at night because I knew I gave it fucking everything I could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, to get where we're at, it's taking everything from me. Like everything. I know you know. Most people don't.
I absolutely.
Yeah, most people hear everything and they
They
think
left it all on the field
Yeah,
every day
yeah.
since the beginning.
every fucking day.
Yeah.
And
And they think that today is easier than when you're sleeping on the back, in the back of the store.
no, it's harder.
It's harder.
Yeah,
So they don't understand.
much harder because there's more variables. There's more problems.
Yeah, and one thing with
number of fucking problems.
this is spring cut too,
the size
is now that I'm dropping all the calories,
charge of him.
I'm starting to drop weight, but
Fucking over.
like weight isn't always a good indication of if you're making progress, because sometimes you got water weight and there's different factors too, like salt intake holds more water, so sometimes weight isn't the best way to measure your progress. Sometimes it's just a tape measure, especially on your waistline and just other places. But I've found that since I'm in a routine, I eat the same stuff every day at the same times, and I've kind of found out what part of the day I'm at my driest, and I feel like I don't have much water weight. I haven't eaten for a few hours. I feel like I'm kind of fasted, and I've learned that I'm about the lightest. I can get the more precise weight on myself at about 7 o'clock at night. Actually, I'm sorry, about like 9 o'clock at night. And it's just like you got to kind of find that time of day where you're the most consistent to start actually getting a beat on where you're truly at with your diet and all of your calories and all that stuff. Which I know I'm in a deficit, but just seeing the scale go down every single day is like, fuck yeah, bro. Like it gives you that much more drive to stick with your diet because tomorrow, how much better am I going to be tomorrow? Like you can see the fat coming off of you every single day. So it's like just finding that right time of day. If you are going to resort to using the scale, which has got to be in there, but just finding that time of day where you're the driest, and if you're in a good routine, it's going to really, really help. All right, this will be the last set, max, one set to failure. This will be the max set I go to.
Small town, too big of a fish, too small of a pond. I outgrew it. A lot of that stuff came from people that I love. Yeah. I could deal with the bullshit from the haters. It was the ones that were close to me that fucked me. I'm sure you have 1,000 stories, and I have 1,000 stories. But it was the repetition of like everyone I tried to help, everyone I tried to, over and over and over again. I was like, God damn, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Bro, because what happens, I know this too. What happens is you have no money, then all of a sudden you've got money, and then big problems to other people. It might take $5 grand, right? To fix, right? So you're like, fuck it. I've done this a million times.
A million.
So I give the motherfucker $5 grand, thinking it's like, okay, I'm gonna just take this stress off your plate. You go fix your shit. Don't sweat it, don't mention it.
Now you're the fixer.
Fuck, forever. Forever. It's like feeding a fucking stray cat. It really is. No, it really is, bro. You get bitter because you realize
If you go too hard into those sets of failure, you actually start feeling,
because that's why you help,
especially with negatives and static hold reps, you'll start feeling those muscle fibers actually start to tear a little bit. It's kind of crazy. One thing that's a contrary, I don't know, it's kind of bro science, is the wider the grip, you're going to be working the wider and outer chest. And if you play around with that movement a little bit, for me, if you're closer with the elbows in, it's more triceps. But I found, and Mike Minster kind of turned me on to this, he's like, if you keep your, like a closer grip, but your elbows flared out, it's going to put a lot more of that stress on your actual chest. So I used to do a lot of wide grip stuff, but as I've gotten older and played around with those movements, got more information, like I found that's kind of the best, is to have it flared out instead of towards your sides or really, really wide. So that's another little thing that can help you target your chest and get more isolated with all that weight just bearing down on your chest. And it carrying
compared to theirs.
Yeah.
more of the load and burden of that movement.
Because you were on time for
All right, we're gonna go over here to dips.
5:30, you didn't need it.
I'll do one warm-up set just because I'm on a new machine.
That's like the fucking.
Get like kind of, you know, my muscle connected, my mind connected with the muscle just to get into the movement,
Like, I'd rather have
range of motion, and then go into that heavy set to failure.
I don't give it up on rating people's work by the time put in. Like, I read the result, and that's it. I don't give a fuck how much time you put in. Bro, if it took you five times as long as it should take you, that's because you don't have the best skills.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, if you put in all these hours and produce this shitty result, that's not, I don't care how much time you put in. And the thing is that sounds insensitive to people who don't understand it. But like, that's reality, bro. That's reality. The world only judges you. There's not gonna judge your work ethic.
And I've kind of got,
Like, I talked with Tim Rowe about this.
like on my training journal, I've been coming up on some like coming up in weight
Oh, bro.
and getting stronger on some of these exercises. It ain't every single one, every single time. Sometimes it's just like 2 of them out of maybe the 4 or 5 that I do, which I still consider that progress, but I've started to notice some of my rep ranges decreasing with some of the weight. And so I can't really tell if I'm actually overtraining and I'm going too frequent to the gym with the body part, like every 4 days. I could spread it out longer, or I could take an exercise away, but since I'm at a caloric deficit, I don't really know if it's just something that's naturally going to happen, or if I'm actually kind of overtraining a little bit. So it's like, I can actually see that in my training journal, and it's something I've got to really try to work out and, you know, get down to the bottom of. But since I got the training journal, I can actually see that. If I didn't, if it wasn't written down, then I probably wouldn't think much of it. But you can start seeing where you're starting to run yourself into the ground, or if you're actually starting to make progress up. I'd say I'd probably be all right if I actually, you know, bumped up calories, but that's not what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to cut. So it's kind of, it is what it is, I guess. If it gets too drastic, then I'll have to drop weight, or not drop weight, but drop the amount of days that I'm doing the exercises, or drop how many exercises I'm actually doing, or give it more days or some shit. But
The ability to manage stress and solve problems. What I don't think a lot of people miss as well is if you had a.
and I'm giving myself kind of some proper time in between the exercises, but I am moving pretty quick in between one exercise to the next, just because I don't want to cool down. You know, I want to stay warm and then keep it kind of in that zone, tension zone, and you know, the burn's still there while I'm moving into one exercise to the next. So
It's not just that. It's like they're and a lot of people listening, they're gonna hear this and they're gonna think it's fucking cocky bullshit, but it's the truth. Most people had to live a day in my fucking shoes, they would fucking bury them forever.
And that's going back to what we were talking about it's harder now than it was then. When Eric Spofford was sleeping in the sober house with 11 guys and making sure they ate dinner and fucking weren't high on drugs, and Andy Frisella was sleeping in the back of the store, slinging products, doing whatever you're doing there, the problems we were solving aren't even problems to us today. And so over repetition, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, the problems consistently got bigger.
that's got to be one of my favorite movements. It's just the way it's positioned, like it's basically kind of like flat bench, like it's like flat bench, but like kind of rotated. But whereas the barbell's going to hit the top of your chest, you got the handles there, so you can go farther past. And I actually heard some stuff this past week where it's like, it ain't actually about the end of the concentric squeeze. It's more about the eccentric, which is the negative stretch. And I can definitely feel that stretch way more. I guess I don't know, maybe it makes more of a difference. I can actually maybe even feel that. I have to play around with that movement a little bit more, see what I think. But
here's the thing.
You get in the cold, now cold plunge is different.
The guy it came from is pretty reputable. He's a big ass motherfucker. So
Holy shit!
Big shoulder.
bump up weight and then go on to that heavy set to failure here.
In there for 10 minutes and you're like, it feels normal. This feels normal. And that's how, and see, dude, that's how the stress acclimation works in entrepreneurship. You guys out here who are stressed the fuck out, and you're fucking, you're doing $500,000 in sales, $200,000 in sales for your whole year, right? Like, you're just getting started. And bro, we've all been there. You've been there, I've been there. The shit is fun, and it's scary as fuck.
Scary as fuck.
Dude, the thing is that like this shit that you're dealing with right now is preparing you for the bigger shit that you're gonna have to carry later. And it's not that it gets less scary, it actually gets more scary, but you just become so used to it. And this is actually scientifically proven. A lot of people's stress levels are very high, and because they've acclimated to it, they don't feel it, but it still has the physiological effect on their body, right? And
Blood
so,
pressure, heart issue.
yeah, right, exactly. It's still, I have problems with stress, but I don't feel stressed. You see what I'm saying? Like, I have physiological problems when my doctor's like, hey, Andy, you might want to chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that I don't feel it. I don't fucking feel it.
Yeah.
You know, now are there days, dude, when I go home and I'm like, fucking, I deal with stress, I get mad, I get angry. And, like, I'll go home and, I'll start fucking talking to Emily and she'll be like, well, fuck, man, like, it's kind of like my release, my venting. But I don't feel it from day to day. I don't walk around like, ready to fucking crumble. Now, there's times that does happen, but the point that you make, Eric, is so important because you literally, as an entrepreneur, can't go. Like, I know all you guys want to go from your $500,000 or $200,000 a year to $20 million, but you can't do that. If you did that, it would fucking kill you. Okay? And you don't have the skill set to support it. So as the stress comes on, and it starts piling on, you're developing new skill sets along that route that then allow you to and solve problems.
Yep.
And so it is an active process that has a time element that you cannot get around. You have to. It's time. Time is a part of the fucking equation. No matter who you are, no matter what
I think,
you use.
I went down one rep in that movement. So I feel like I was way more focused than I was last week too. A lot more slower, more emphasis on that stretch on the inside, fully contracted position and slower up, just to really give you that targeted feel right on the pec. All right. Oh, no, it was the same. I did the exact same, but it was slower, so slow and deliberate.
100% growth. Yeah. Doubling revenue. To get from 1 to 5 is 500% the first time an employee sues you versus the 50th time an employee sues you. And like, it's just all the stuff that you have to go through.
Yeah, the first time you get sued at all. Yeah, you're like, holy shit, dude. Fucking, I'm over. Like, they're gonna fucking take it. Like, and then, like, you get to a certain level and it's like every day. Like, it's a thing.
All right. We go over to an incline seated cable fly / press. Probably just go right into a max movement, see how I feel whenever I get over there. I'm gonna do that and then go to regular just standing flies. And then that'll be the chest workout. Depending on the time that I'm at with that, I might throw abs in with it. If I'm at the 45-minute mark, then I'm gonna just save the abs for whenever I do shoulders later at the gym.
I would like laugh at those problems, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I'd be like, I can't believe I fucking wasted my time being upset about this.
If you were like me in 2010, I was laying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, like,
freaking the fuck out. Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
For years and years, every single night, for years, Jason and I hang out, we would be on the phone till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning every single night. 4 years, talking through problems, trying to figure out how to make this go. And you know, it feels the same now because we're trying to go to this much bigger level, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, it doesn't feel the same way because I understand how it works, so I can calm myself out of it. I'm like, oh, this is the way it goes.
Yep.
You know, so it's a unique perspective, and I think that, you know, this is why we get rich quick, because like, dude, the value of your journey of being a successful human being in business is not in the education. It's the journey. It really is. And I'm not saying that in some, you know, metaphorical sunshine and rainbows way. I'm saying everything that's going to be truly valuable to you is going to be acquired through that suffering over the course of time. The skills, the emotional intelligence, the ability to acclimate to stress, the ability to handle bigger and bigger and bigger problems. Those things cannot be jump from your mom's basement to billionaire penthouse status like the 21-year-old fucking entrepreneur guru will try to have you believe. Those people, and if they have that money that they say they have, they will fucking not have it very long. So, you know, the value, and that's so hard to like explain to someone, because like I wouldn't have heard that when I was 20 years old. I wouldn't have been, oh yeah, okay, well I feel good about the 20 years of my life. But the truth is, I'm fucking 33 right now, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Yeah, I feel like I'm just now getting started. And it's just it's interesting what time will do to your perspective. That's why really a big reason why I'm excited about the new MFCEO, because my perspective is different than it was during that time I did last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot bigger.
I feel like I'm still a little high for that movement.
A lot.
Just because of the angle of those cables. I feel like I'm doing kind of almost like a decline. I'm gonna drop weight. I think drop the bench a little bit. I think it'll bring that movement up a little more to where I'm actually trying to focus on that upper chest there. We'll see what happens here.
That's a fucking question.
So you sell the business. So what happens after that? What happens
After selling business,
Is it a fucking check?
I got a big old fucking check. I mean, that process in itself, in 2017, back it up a little bit. There's this neighborhood in New Hampshire, which is like kind of the dopest neighborhood in the state. And when I was still living in that apartment, my first car was like this 1988 Volvo that I bought for $400. And I used to smoke cigarettes at the time. I used to get a big iced coffee and go in that neighborhood and like smoke a cigarette and visualize living there. Fast forward, I buy the sickest house in the neighborhood. 2017, my neighbor across the street sells his business, which was a staffing company, for like $300 million. And dude, again, it's like this idea of like showing up, of self-education, of figuring it out. In 2017, like I didn't understand a single thing about selling a business. I didn't know what private equity was. I knew nothing about any of this. But I would just watch this dude cash a $300 million fucking check.
So what'd you do? You fucking learned.
I was like, hey bro, can we get lunch? And then I obsessively started learning everything there was to know about selling the business. In that process, I haphazardly learned how to professionalize a business. Dude, I'm a man, nobody can do this better than me. I got fucking 17 direct reports. I'm driving myself crazy. I'm burning up from both ends, and I'm walking up and road, and yada yada yada. And so I start meeting him and all these other people that I'm learning from. And I see that he sold his business for $300 million, and he hadn't been part of the day-to-day operation in fucking years.
So probably sacrificed form a little bit on that to do weight.
All this stuff, and I was very intrigued by it. And so crazy story.
I'm gonna do just regular standing cable flies now.
Everything I could.
That was more of kind of a press. It was too much of a weight for me to actually get out and fly to do in that fly movement. So I ended up kind of just switching over to the press.
Down to a couple final buyers, pick one, $50 million. I was gonna sell 80% of it for a $40 million check, which for that's a lot of fucking money. And It's the summer of 2019. Leaving, visiting a marketing agency. I was interviewing in Baltimore at the airport, and I get a call, and I answer, and I testified to the United States Senate on addiction in 2015. I've been involved.
Yeah.
I've been involved on the right side of politics, if there is one, for a long time. And friends with the governor, like, I was very politically active. The politics is actually what got me more attention, mixed with the addiction recovery early on.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I go on fucking MSCEO for 4 fucking years and preach how to make millions of dollars. I go fucking start talking about bullshit going on in the world. My show grows 4 times over.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I testified in 2015. I make a name for myself in my own state and in Washington. I help craft a couple.
Give it just another minute or so in between this set here.
Recovery Act 1 and 2. I participated in that.
Shit, once you actually get leaner, you can actually start to see more of the progress you're making muscularly. Like I can feel this top shelf, I can feel the distance in between the actual top of the muscle and the collarbone. I can tell that's getting bigger. I can tell I'm, these are like micro gains too, it's like, it's very slow and imperceptible sometimes, but the leaner you are, then the more you can actually see a lot of this stuff taking place. That's one of the reasons why I actually want to get down to a leaner body percentage too, aside from just mastery over my own body, but just so you can actually start seeing the gains as they actually occur. And
addiction crisis.
I don't know, you just see that progress, man. And also, like, most people don't realize, like, well, typically for these videos, like, I don't even drink water before I come out here in the morning. Like, I'll just have a little bit of a Red Bull for like a pre-workout. But anyways, like, whenever you're lean, whenever you're big, we'll say that, whenever you've got a lot of body weight that you're carrying around, you really can't see what certain foods are doing to you and certain aspects about your diet. But whenever you get lean, you can really start to dial in. Like, actually, I can, especially with this, I can tell whenever I eat oats, they stick around more. But if I'll eat more like broccoli as a carb source or like rice, my body tears through that stuff. So you're getting immediate feedback too, based on the foods that you're eating, the exercises, all sorts of stuff. And you can't, that you wouldn't be as if you were big. And it just, you can't even tell the difference. But whenever you're leaner, you can actually start seeing what a lot of these different foods are actually doing to your body just from one day to the next. It's crazy shit, man.
He says, this event's canceled.
No fucking way.
I said, what do you mean this event's canceled? He says, there's been an incident. I don't know. They haven't told me anything about it. They turned Air Force 2 around. Vice President's not coming. You're going to walk on that stage. You're going to thank everyone for coming, and you're going to introduce me, and I'm going to shut this down. I said, fucking soldier up, dog. Let's go. I rock out on the stage. I fucking shut the thing down. He shuts it down. Bro, Donald Trump, a couple of days later, is on the, he always used to get caught on the big helicopter and the little lawn thing. And Donald Trump had this clip from us, and he says, there wasn't a matter of national security. They're asking why they never change their schedules.
Yeah.
And so they thought it was Russia, they thought it was China, they thought it was like all this speculation, and the media would leave it alone. And he says, it wasn't a matter of national security, there was a problem at the site. Motherfucker, I'm the site. I'm the site. It's my site. It was my place. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Bro, I'm wearing a tinfoil suit, bro. I got my AR-15. Like, I'm bugged out. Dude, it was 3 weeks. It was actually 20 days on cancellation of the event. I got just talk about like the shit we go through with people on the way there. Dude, I'm 20 days in. It's a Monday morning. It's 10 a.m. I walk out.
God damn. I done burnt myself out on all those other exercises. Can't even hardly get focused on that one.
And he had had a career end. He played for the Giants, played for the Bucks.
Like, I still felt it, but
Lovable guy. If you met him today, funny as fuck. It's great. Says to me, I need to talk to you. So, dude, I'm a little busy. It's like 10
I still got 6 minutes.
It's no real shit I need to talk.
To hit my 45-minute mark. I'm gonna just do some forearms. I'm gonna save abs for later, and just end up with forearms here. Do like 3 or 4 sets. It's a failure.
This is a crazy story, but I gotta tell you. In 2017, I relapsed on pain meds. It turned to fentanyl and dope. I met a girl, she introduced me to a dope dealer. I was driving the packages. He got busted by the DEA. I got busted by the DEA. I've been an undercover informant for the DEA for the last 2 fucking years. And the DEA told Secret Service that I work here and I was in the building, and that's why that event was canceled.
Oh,
the
man.
feds forced me to take a fucking charge, and they are releasing the information right now. I said, can you say that again? Like, can you walk me through this one more fucking time? Dude, the headline, I said, we gotta get out of the building. Let's go. We'll figure this out. We leave, call my lawyer.
So this is
come on.
3 weeks after the thing.
3 weeks after the thing, the feds fucking forced the kid to plead guilty to a charge as part of his plea agreement,
Yeah.
and then fed it to the media. Politico breaks the story first, and the fucking media, I have Fox, MSNBC, CNN, and every other one of these fucking assholes you can think of in front of the house. And the national headline was, Mike Pence's visit to New Hampshire canceled to avoid meeting drug dealer. I own a drug rehabilitation business.
Jesus.
It was a fucking.
Jesus.
The private equity company calls me at 3 p.m. It's on like firefighting, talking to PR people, lawyers, and fucking every other person, explaining that I'm not part of a drug trafficking operation.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone.
Oh, so they're talking about him
Him.
in the headline.
Yeah.
Guy.
Him. Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah, they're not
He-
talking about your
dude,
past.
No.
Yeah.
He fucking. There you go. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Fucking crazy. And he threw his fucking bananas, bro. The private equity company guy calls me and I said, hey, he goes, we're out. I figured. That's
Yeah.
all, yeah. And so here I am in 2019 with my dick in my hand, bro. I owed the IRS a couple $1 million. I had no cash. And dude, I was left to fight for my life.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That was part of the process. So,
That would have been nice for them to just not fucking ask you to come, huh? Not ask to come and see you.
you know,
I did
Here's the crazy thing. I
arms 2 days in a row, back to back.
was I would've got
And on that second day, man, I was doing preacher curls, and I was being really forceful too. Like, I was using a lot of momentum just to get it up and catch the negative. I was being pretty intense with it, dude, and fucking tweaked my left bicep.
Where we had big offers.
And I haven't done biceps for about a week now, probably roughly, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 days, coming up on a week. And dude, I can feel those with those forearm workouts. For some reason, sitting that bicep a little bit, but I don't know if most people realize how intense high intensity is. Like, it's one thing, you can do 5 sets, but if you always quit whenever you start to hit your failure and you just quit, how much growth are you really going to present to your body? But whenever you go into failure and beyond into that red line area, that's whenever you're actually presenting your body enough of a threat for it to say, oh shit, I've got to cope to this. And most people don't realize like how intense that actually is for the body and your physiology. But I found out whenever I did it 2 days in a row, just how much of an actual stress that I do put on my biceps and just all the other parts of my body by taking it to failure. And needless to say, I'm not going to be doing that again very soon at all. Mike Menser, he talks about how high intensity is like going out for a suntan with the sun 5 million miles closer to the earth than normal. And that it's that much more intense, and it's just very physically demanding. Most people who say 1 set to failure doesn't work, I don't think have actually tried it, because if they move in, do 5 exercises, and do 1 set to failure on each one of those, and they do it in pretty rapid succession, they're going to be spent, they're going to be exhausted, because they're literally performing on the very cutting edge of what their ability actually is. And it is fucking demanding, dude. And you can only do high intensity for, so many minutes. You ain't gonna go in the gym and do high intensity for, 2 hours straight, dude. You might be able to do it for 40, maybe an hour, and that's with rest too. But it's very physically demanding. But that's where, operating in the red line area of what your body's used to is what's actually gonna kick in that growth stimulus in order to actually, create an adaptive response and grow muscle.
inside of 20
It's a very intense process.
That's crazy.
Plus the real estate
So maybe you
assets.
guys not compete or anything?
Everything in the New England states.
Oh, okay.
Well, they really know how to hurt me with that one. I fucking hate it here anyway. I'm going Miami.
Oh man, that sucks. Okay.
Yeah. The whole time.
Yeah.
It's killing me. It's New
So
England.
it's like there are a lot of people that listen, right? They're listening. They're in.
Oh.
I mean, like you know, like I know this is kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, and coming up with
No,
some
go for it.
things, but like, what do you think the most important skill sets? Like, if you had to name, like, let's say 3 that you personally have that have helped you go from, you know, basically less than 0, okay, like in a really bad spot, addicted to drugs, where everybody doesn't want to be, to where everybody does want to be. Where you're living in an oceanfront property in Miami, one of the coolest cities on the earth. You're driving the coolest.
You know, it's kind of crazy. Like yesterday, I was talking about how whenever you've got a concept, if you can start examining its negative, like the opposite of that implication, if it still runs logical, then you might have something there. But if you think about it, like there's only one valid theory for math. There's only one valid theory for science. And since there's only one valid theory, then that must mean all other theories must be incorrect, right? So that's that flip side there. And so you have the volume approach, which is basically like where you do a lot of sets versus, you know, 1 set to failure. Which one's better? Well, if you know that kicking it into the red line area is the thing that's going to produce growth, well, if you do 5 sets, but you never approach that red line area, is it going to produce a growth, right? So Mike Mentory talks about how there can only be one valid theory of actual exercise science, and therefore all other theories must be, invalid. And I would agree with that for the most part, but I think why you see actual progress with the actual volume approach is because you actually have to, since you're not going into that red line area, you actually have to do the volume just to get enough volume to approach something to an adaptation or an adaptive response for the body. Whereas, you know, with just the 1 set, you can do it in just 1 set and then be done. I'm gonna do 1 more set of forearms here, and then I'm gonna be done with it. The timer already did go off on the 45 minutes, but we'll finish this 1 set up here.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And they think an entirely different way. A billionaire, what I've realized, thinks entirely different than someone that just cracked into $100 million, right? Or a decamillionaire, or a millionaire. Like, and so just that self-limiting mindset, being able to remove that, and continue to learn and grow and self-educate.
In one way, I've tried to test this out too, which it's a little oxymoronic, but it's basically because, like, dude, whenever you've been taught that doing a lot of sets and a lot of volume is the way to build muscle, and you've been told that your whole life, then you're going to kind of revert back to that, especially whenever you see people in the gym doing it, and it seems that they are making progress. And then, like, dude, but I've got this theory over here, theory of high intensity, that makes a lot more sense than all that shit does. And I've actually got the why behind why I'm doing things, and it all is a logical progression. And I've accepted it, but still, it's like you almost feel like you're missing out somewhere. So, you know, for me, I'll like pick out a body part and just test different theories. Like forearms, I'm doing a little bit of more volume because it's got it's kind of a different muscle than your bicep. Your forearm is going to be everything that you fucking do. It's going to be touching. It's your grip strength, it's your hands. It's almost like your calves and your legs. Like they're on the ground all the time doing the damn thing, whereas your arms are just kind of swinging. Like they're different type of fibers involved in the different muscles. Anyways, you know, so I'm kind of testing that out, but really, if you get down to it, your body's only got enough resources to be able to throw at any one of these. So if you start digging into it too much, I mean, it's going to start being counterproductive because your body just can't simply produce enough resources to compensate for the volume. You know, unless you've got a lot of rest days, or maybe if you're an enhanced bodybuilder, with steroids or, you know, PEDs and all the other shit that you can take. But yeah, so you get in here and do some editing here on these videos, create some shorts, and this was day 26 of 75 hard. I really appreciate you guys following along. If you like the content I produce, you know, be sure to subscribe. If you don't, all good, man. You can't please everybody, but yeah, appreciate you guys.